All right, hello and welcome to Delta Math Support. Today we're going to be going over a word problem, which I see a lot of people struggle with, which is fine, right? Math and words, eh. So I copied this problem straight from Delta Math, and I'm going to go through it today, and hopefully it can help you go through the next problems. I tried choosing a harder one. So it says, Nasam is flying a kite, holding his hands a distance of 2.5 feet above the ground and letting all the kite string play out. He measures the angle of elevation from his hand to the kite to be 28 degrees. If the string from the kite to his hand is 105 feet long, how many feet is the kite above the ground? Round your answer to the nearest hundredth of a foot if necessary. Okay, a little overwhelming, right? So before I start off, I'm actually going to make a side here where I am going to write down my steps. So my first step, I'm going to figure out what is going on, in the story. So I'm going to put right here, no numbers. So I always read it and I basically try to ignore all the numbers and all the math lingo and just figure out what's going on in the story. So if I read it again, Nasam is flying a kite. He's holding his hand out. The kite is up in the air and they want to figure out how far the kite is from the ground. Okay, so I'm just going to read it without numbers. And based off of what's going on when I'm reading, I'm going to draw it. Remember I said that it's always helpful in math to draw it. So here I am. I'm going to draw, what's his name, Nathaniel? Nasism. And I see that he's holding his hand out. It says he's holding his hand, okay? So he doesn't have his hand on the floor. He's holding it out. And there is a kite. Okay. And then there is the ground or the grass, whatever. Okay, so that is my drawing. This is a story. There's a guy, he's just flying a kite. Okay. Third step. With my drawing, now I'm going to include the numbers. So I'm going to label my drawing now with the numbers. So Nasism is flying a kite, holding his hand a distance of 2.5 feet above the ground. So his hand is 2.5 feet above the ground, okay? So this part right here is 2.5. Okay, not too bad, right? He's letting all the kite string play out. Okay, that kind of sounds like unnecessary information. He measures the angle of the elevation from his hand to the kite to be 28 degrees. So this part's tricky, okay? So what he is saying here is that this is not 28 degrees, okay? He's saying from his hand to the kite. So pretend from his hand there is a horizontal line like this. So from his hand to the kite, it is 28 degrees. So right here, this is 28 degrees, okay? If the string from the kite to his hand is 105 feet long, okay, so that's the string from his hand to the kite is 105 feet long. How many feet is the kite above the ground? Okay, so they want to know what this is, okay? So we're trying to figure out how high the kite is up in the air. So since we're working with trig, it's all about triangles, I'm going to find my triangle. Okay. Notice that we technically have two triangles here. We have this large one going like this, or, let me go over it real quick. Don't do this on yours. we have this triangle like this. But I'm not going to choose this triangle because I don't have all the necessary information. This 105 only goes from here to here. I don't even have an angle, so I'm not going to be looking at that triangle. The second triangle I have is a smaller one right here. Now with this triangle, I do have an angle and I do have the hypotenuse. So I'm going to be looking at that second smaller triangle. So now I always do this. I always draw a triangle that's a little cleaner so that I don't get confused with all the information. Okay. So I'm going to relabel it. This is 105. Obviously, this is a right triangle. This is 28 degrees. And it looks like we're going to be trying to find to this side. So now I'm going to use some math. What can I use to find this side? So far we've learned about the Pythagorean's theorem. Pythagorean theorem only talks about the sides. And I need at least two sides, so I can't use that guy. I'm going to be using some trig. So I'm going to figure out, this is my hypotenuse. And this is my opposite. So hypotenuse and opposite. If you don't know it off the top of your head, you can look at your green sheet, but that is sine. So remember that sine of blank of your angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. So now I'm going to fill it in. Now it's just a regular problem on Delta Math without the scary words, okay? So sine of 28 degrees equals opposite, x, over hypotenuse. We want to get x by itself, right? We're trying to solve for x. Well, 105 is dividing by x. I need to get rid of it, so I'm going to do the opposite and multiply on both sides. 105 divided by 105 is a giant 1, so it crosses out. And on my left-hand side, I'm left with 105 times sine of 28 degrees equals x. So now I'm going to use my calculator. Oops. So 105 times sine of 28 degrees equals that. Okay, I am going to, let's see. I'm going to see how much they want me to round by, okay? It says to the nearest hundredth, okay? So that means I need to round to this 9 right here. This 4 is too small to bump it up, so my answer is 49.29, okay? So x equals 49.29. Now, I'm not going to plug in my answer here. I am going to go back and revisit the drawing or question to make sure I've actually fully answered it. Okay, so I'm going to go working a little backwards. So this number equals to this side right here. And this side right here on our drawing is right here. So this is 49.29. But notice that this 49.29 only accounts for this chunk right here. That is not from the kite to the ground. I'm missing this number right here, okay? But if we notice, we know that from here to here, it is 2.5. So that means this is 2.5. So to figure out the whole height, I need to add these numbers. So my last step, I'm going to add my numbers. So maybe over here I could go, so I'm going to go 49.29 plus 2.5. And again, this is from the kite, maybe I'll write that, kite to hand, right? That's the distance. And this one is from the hand to the ground. So if I add these up, 49.29, 49.29 plus 2.5, 51.79. So my actual answer is 50, I just said it, 51.79. So always, before you answer anything, go back and make sure you're actually answering the question, okay? Because sometimes we get a little lost in all the fun of the math. So right here on Delta Math, I would put 51.79. That is how high the kite is flying from the ground. And we are done. So again, steps. Figure out what's going on in the story without any numbers, because by figuring that out, it could help you make your drawing. And it calms you down and it doesn't overwhelm us. After that, then we include the numbers and we do some fun math to figure out what we can use to answer the problem. Last step, you have to go back and check that you actually have the answer. Because some of these questions are a little tricky and they'll throw in extra numbers that you end up having to use at the end. Good luck. Hopefully this helped and I'll see you in the next video.